this will break your PS5. If you're in the extremely tiny group of people, like so small you definitely need a microscope to see it, who managed to get a PS5 at launch, the last thing you're going to want to do is break it. I'm sure Sony has a few set aside for RMA requests, but really, if you break this thing, you're going to be waiting weeks to get a new one, maybe even a month. I'm getting flashbacks to the Red Ring of Death days with the Xbox 360, and that's just honestly the last thing you're going to want to do. So with that being said, the nice guy that I am, I took my PS5 and really put it through its paces and found some tips and tricks that you're going to want to know about so you don't break your PS5. And you'll seem pretty cool when your friends come over and you can show them some of this stuff. It's like a win-win type of video. And before we get too far into it, if you want to make sure you're PS ready, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an upload. The first tip you're really going to want to know about with your PS5 is how to put discs in it. And I know that sounds crazy, please don't click off the video, but there is a weird thing with the PS5. It comes with its own stand, right? So you can stand it vertically with that stand screwed in, or you can put it horizontally where you click the stand onto it on the back where those little square, triangle, circle, and X symbols are, and it doesn't really feel like it's on, and then you kind of have to awkwardly slide it into your TV center and you feel like it's going to come off, but you have to put that stand on. And when you have that stand on and your console's horizontal, the disk drive is facing down. So if it's in that stance, you're going to think to yourself, oh, I'll put the art of the disc facing up when I insert the disc. But when you stand the console vertically, your brain is going to tell you, put the disc in with the art facing towards the middle of the console, and it's really confusing. It might. Do you really want to try it? First of all, it's going to give you a heart attack because you're going to think the disk drive is broken, and then you're going to be like, damn, I put the disc in wrong. You're gonna have to get up, eject the disc, flip it over, put it in the right way, and then walk all the way back to the couch. You can save yourself all that trouble by just remembering that the disc is always going to have the art facing the center of the console. Next up is a mistake that's really easy to make, but it's one you're definitely going to want to know about. So when you're talking about the OS on the PS5 and how it compares to the one on the PS4, I'm definitely not the first person to say that it's iteration over revolution. They're pretty similar. But one cool new feature that Sony baked into this new console is that the first time you boot it up, you get a one-time only startup screen that you're going to miss if you're fumbling around with the controller or you're looking at the instruction manual. So the first time you turn on your console, make sure you're paying attention to the TV, because honestly, it's pretty cool. And the only other time you're probably going to see it is if you break your console by putting the disc in the wrong way, and then you have to get a new one because then you'll be starting it up for the first time again. The second mistake you can make, which is also pretty easy, is turning off the trophy notifications as soon as you boot up your PS5 for the first time. Look, I know they're kind of annoying because there's plenty of games out there that give you trophies for doing stuff like jumping for the first time or breathing in-game, you know, really simple stuff that awards bronze trophies. But just like with the PS3 to PS4, the PS4 to PS5 jump has brought us new trophy jingles. So if you turn off those notifications, you're not going to get to hear those new jingles. And just to take this one step further, don't turn them off after you get your first bronze trophy in Astro's Playroom, because let's be honest, everyone should play Astro's Playroom. The reason you're not going to want to turn them off right after that is because this time around, the Platinum Trophy has its own jingle, and it's even cooler than the original jingle that they had with all the other trophies. And for those of you who don't know, the Platinum Trophy is the one you get when you complete all of the other trophies for a game. Now, you could spend like 5 or 6 hours and get the Platinum Trophy in Astro's Playroom, and that would be a good use of your time, but there are a couple of other ways to get them even quicker. So there's a great game that came out last year called Ghost of Tsushima. Came out this year. So there's a great game that came out this year called Ghost of Tsushima, and it has notoriously one of the easiest platinum trophies to get on the PS4 console. The game also got a patch for the PS5 that lets it run at 4K 60 frames per second. So if you haven't played it yet, or you have played it and you haven't gotten the platinum trophy, that's one you should definitely check out on your brand new console. Another way to get a platinum trophy that's even easier is if you accomplish it on Spider-Man PS4 back in 2018. And that's another game that was notoriously easy to get a platinum on, so if you haven't done it yet, go check out the game and see if you just need a couple more to clean up, because it's an easy platinum. And then when you get Spider-Man Miles Morales, you pay $20, you get Spider-Man Remastered, you import your save from Spider-Man PS4, and boom, you got a brand new platinum trophy that is in addition to the one you had on PS4. You'll get to hear that chime right away, and then you can go ahead and deactivate those jingles. One of the more controversial features on the DualSense controller is that it comes with a built-in microphone. So if you want to mute it, all you have to do is hit the mute button on the controller, but there is a way to do it that's a little more permanent, and I think a lot better, that most people are going to want to know about. Guys, I've been sitting here for 3 minutes trying to remember this line, so I'm just going to read it off my phone and put B-roll over it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is head into the settings menu and then scroll down to sound. Once you're there, make sure the microphone menu is selected and then tab into microphone status when logged in. And there you can make it so every time you turn on your PS5 and log into the console, your microphone on your controller will default to muted. And honestly, I feel like that's the feature they should have shipped with it turned on. To be totally honest with you guys, Sony isn't necessarily at the top of my list of companies I don't want listening to me, because realistically they're just gonna hear me breathing really hard while I'm playing Spider-Man. But if you'd rather be safe than sorry, this is a cool thing to do that'll give you the peace of mind knowing that virtually no one is hacked into your controller listening to you. Now you just gotta worry about every other device in your house. We're gonna stick with the DualSense for this next tip, and we're gonna talk about how to clean it. So if you've taken a look at this controller, there's a lot of cracks and crevices in it, and just because it's a white controller, it's going to get dirty pretty quick. Now I can't really help you with cleaning the touchpad, and I'm not gonna tell you how to do it because I feel like that's a liability, that's something that's very easy to break that I don't want you screwing around with that. But the bottom half of the controller, that black little shield that goes under the thumbsticks, you can just pop that off by sliding your fingernail underneath it. It'll just come right off, and then you can clean the inside of the controller and have, again, peace of mind knowing that there's not like Cheeto dust or whatever else you're eating or messing around with above your brand new DualSense controller. There's a lot of gross stuff going through my mind right now. Just make sure you keep your controller clean, and Sony thankfully made it pretty easy. The next tip I have for you is actually pretty important, and it's how to make sure your PS5 is actually playing at 120 Hertz. Now you would think if you took your PS5 and plugged it into a 120 Hertz compatible monitor, it would just know and default to that automatically, but that is not the case. And this is another one that I'm going to have to read off my phone, I'm warning you now. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to the system settings and scroll down to save data and game settings. Once you're in there, scroll to game presets, and under the performance mode or resolution mode menu, switch it to performance mode. Once that setting is saved, if you put a PS5 disc into your console or download a PS5 game that has a 120 Hertz mode, the PS5 will automatically switch it to that mode without you having to do anything. Now, if you like the options, you can leave it turned off, but there are a couple games like Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which the only way to get that game to run in 120 Hertz is to have this setting on in your PS5 settings menu. And it shouldn't be surprising that that game has this issue, because it's also a game that wants to download the PS4 version for you no matter what. So if you've already got Black Ops Cold War installed, first make sure you go check if you're playing the PS5 version, and then also make sure you have that 120 Hertz mode selected, because it's a Call of Duty game. It's a shooter. You want to have the best edge you can get online. You want that to be at 120 Hertz if your TV or monitor can support it. Talking about Black Ops Cold War reminded me to tell you that you might not actually be playing the PS5 version of a lot of your games. Because this generation is so focused on backwards compatibility, a lot of the PS5 games coming out also have PS4 versions that come along with the PS5 disc. So if you want to make sure your PS5 is defaulting to those PS5 versions, all you have to do is highlight the game in your dashboard and click the options button on it, and there will be a little drop-down menu that tells you which game you're playing. Now, the game that's notorious for switching to the PS4, like I said, is Black Ops Cold War, but there have been a couple other instances, like with Spider-Man and Spider-Man Remastered, so just make sure you're playing the right version, because you paid all this money for a PS5 and maybe even beat up an old lady with a stick at the store to get it.
I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get these cranberries.
And those are my tips and tricks to A, make sure you don't break your PS5, and B, impress your friends when they come over to see it. Just make sure you watch it so they don't steal it, because yeah, these things are hard to get. If you want to make sure you're always PS ready, hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. As always, guys, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.